Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, the goal for this video is pretty simple. I want to help explain to you, or help you understand what components come together to make a great cold email campaign, cold calling campaign, or any kind of outbound campaign. I don't have a course to sell you. I don't ever plan on selling a course. I don't have a cult I'm cultivating. I don't have anything like that. I'm just doing this for two reasons. One, to get a job as of current right now, sales job, and then number two, I'm doing this as a way to give value whilst also really increasing my ability to speak and give value in a short amount of time without doing what I'm doing right now. Now, with that being said, make this super simple. When it comes to a cold email campaign, a cold call, any kind of outbound campaign, you want to accompany novelty, be human, give value. I feel like these are the three things, because when it comes to cold outbound, one thing you also need to understand is every industry is different. Some people hate free stuff. Some people hear free stuff and their skin just crawls. Some people love free stuff. Some people. So every market, you need to, before you actually go out to the market, you need to really understand who you're targeting. That's first. Before you actually go to the market, you need to thoroughly understand who is your ideal client profile. That's pretty much any marketing, inbound, outbound. Now, once you understand that, and you understand the anthropology of those people, how they think, what their beliefs are, then you want to send out a message to them. As far as I'm concerned, I've tried multiple different industries, and people always fall for the commitment consistency bias, which is people have a tendency of wanting to pay people back that have done them something. So free tends to really work for a lot of industries. Okay, free tends to. Now, what kind of free am I referring to? I'm not referring to free whereby you're just saying, hey, we'll set up your cold email campaigns or whatever service you're selling, we'll do for free. No, that's not what I'm talking about as free. Free could be something they pay for. That's what I'm talking about free. I'm not talking about free as in, hey, this is free, just take it. Free as something that they value that maybe costs you nothing, or maybe it costs you something, but if they were to become a client, it would pay itself tenfold. It's all about making sure that you can spend enough. That you can spend. It's all about making sure that whatever you're spending, if you do get a client, is going to be worth more. That's how you can know if the free is worth it or not. Okay, free is one way you can go about getting a lot of responses and a lot of leads and a lot of traction. Another way is coming off as another human being. Instead of just approaching people with, hey, the name is this, the name is Cannon, I work with this company, we've done this for this company, and we could do this for you also. That's a great approach. And I do that in some campaigns whereby I start off with, the name is, I guess, for example, we had this campaign, it was a deal origination campaign, and I was saying, and I started off with, hey, the name is Kevin, for example. I thought this might be up your alley. Then I send it to them. Sorry, I don't send it to them. I just say to them, hey, I thought this might be up your alley, and then I say, hey, the name is Robin. I do this. I've done this for this company, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in achieving the same kind of results. Whatever results you achieve for that company, whether that's conversions, money, whatever it is, you want to be careful with listing figures inside of emails specifically because it's kind of spammy. But those emails, I've done those before. But coming off as a human being really gets more responses. What do I mean by coming off as a human being? Coming off as a human being means not writing a whole paragraph and not coming off as too corporate, if that makes sense. And another way you can actually go about getting a lot of responses is just being new, having a different approach. One of the key things that work a lot with LinkedIn outreach, for example, is sending voice messages or videos. The same thing works with emails. Emails, if you send out looms, you tend to get more responses, and so on and so forth. So the more work it takes for you to do something or a kind of outreach, the more prone you are to get more, the more you are to get responses and more positive responses. And even if it's not positive, people will still tell you and they'll reply to you, not interested, but thank you for the novelty, which also helps with keeping your company's reputation up, which is important for a lot of our enterprise companies that we tend to work with. They're very, very keen on knowing how you plan on portraying them outside when you're marketing their services. And this is, once again, takes me back to the first thing, which is what I was saying. Know your client. Because if you don't know your client and then you approach them with some whack email saying, hey, we'll get you 100 leads within the next 5 days, and that's an enterprise client, they hate hearing that kind of stuff. You just completely lost your credibility, spammed, and they never want to hear from you ever again. So everything really, really, really goes back to understanding your ideal client profile. My apologies if I made that a long conversation. All of it just goes back to who your ideal client profile is and really testing. That's the honest truth. If someone gives you a playbook and says this is going to work for your industry, and they're confident in their statement, that means they've already done the testing and playing around and figuring out what works. And what works will eventually not work. So it's like, it's an evolution. And life is patterns. Everything is done in patterns. Algorithms is how this computer, this video is working. And in life also is about algorithms and patterns. You have to make a specific amount of dials, give a specific amount of offers to people, get rejections and yeses, and iterate. I started off some time ago, I was selling M&A services. And as I was selling these M&A services, my first week, the offer that I had, by the end of that week, I had a whole different offer. Every single call I did, and I heard someone's gesture saying, if it was this, someone, for example, I would pitch someone saying, hey, I could do this, and that. And the person would be like, not really interested. And then I might say, okay, you know what, thank you for that. Just a quick question, though. What would you want? And they're like, oh, if it had this, I'll be interested. And I say, thank you. Instead of selling them, I say, thank you. Or in your situation, you can say, thank you, I'll talk to my boss about it and see if we could offer that. If we could offer that, would you be interested in talking sometime later? You don't even got to add that part because that part could come off a bit too salesy. But I would ask them, what would you want? And then they'd tell me. I write it down. I'll call the next person. So by the time you do 100 calls, by the 100th call in that same day, you already have a bulletproof offer. You have an offer. I won't say bulletproof offer because if people don't pay you money, if people don't take out their cards and pay you, you don't got a bulletproof offer. Now, if they're paying you, they're refunding, then you have shitty delivery. That's not the offer. And that's one. But I'm gonna end this video now because I'm talking too much. But that's one of the key things that I've realized about myself is that I know how to generate demand, but I need to work on either my operational skills or get a partner who has operational skills. And that's why currently right now in this quote unquote journey we call life, I'm applying for jobs. With that being said, recruiter, if you're watching this, whoever you are, if you're learning from this, or someone watching this from the future, whatever it is, this is me. And yeah, I don't have much to say. Peace.